Ooh, looking for wherever the Lutherans may be. Out here in the cheap seats. Need to sing a song with some 4-part harmony. Ooh. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of gray, for purple mountains, majesty above the fruited plain. Basses, I can't hear you. America, America, God shed His grace on thee and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. I hear a bass right here. My country, 'tis of the sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing, land where my fathers died, land of the pilgrims brought from every mountainside, let freedom reign. Oh, what a beautiful morning. Oh, what a beautiful day. I've got a beautiful feeling. Everything's going my way. All the creatures are singing like music. All the creatures are singing like music. And people on camp chairs, they hold out their hand. And off in the distance I hear my own band. Oh, what a beautiful morning. Lovely. Oh, what a beautiful day. I've got a beautiful feeling. Everything's going my way. Oh, it's sunny today in Seattle. Oh, it's sunny today in Seattle. Who would have guessed that we could see the sky? Who knows when it might happen again, and where and why? Oh, what a beautiful morning. Oh, what a beautiful day. I've got a beautiful feeling. Everything's going my way. Oh, what a beautiful day. Okay. Oh, mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord. He is trampling out the vintage where the grapes of wrath are stored. He hath loosed the fateful lightning of his terrible swift sword. His truth is marching on. Boom, boom. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. His truth is marching on. Praise God from whom all blessings flow. Praise him, all creatures here below. Praise him above the heavenly host. Praise Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. When we've been there 10,000 years, bright shining as the sun, we've no less days to sing God's praise than when first. Well, she was just 17, if you know what I mean. And the way she looked was way beyond compare. Come on, falsetto. I'll never dance with another. Woo! When I saw her standing there. It's too dry. My throat is all dry. Who knew Seattle would be like this? We brought ponchos. We brought umbrellas. We brought a wonderful show. We had brought some wonderful musicians. And let's bring them up here, right here. The Barolo Boys, Richard Dworsky, the Barolo Boys Orchestra. Richard Dworsky here at the piano. Mr. Richard Dworsky, the Barolo Boys Orchestra on a bright summer day. Slow days of summer in this old town. Sun goes across the sky. Sometimes a car goes by. There's one right now. Looks like a Chevy. Your Chevy's blue. That Chevy's white and brown. It isn't slowing down. Guess it's not you. You said you'd be here Sunday or so, maybe by Saturday, if you could get away. You didn't know. I love you, darling, waiting alone, waiting for you to show. Wishing you'd call me, though I don't have a phone. Oh, oh, waiting for love to come, all is alive. Bird song like diamonds, oh, bright diamonds, all down the drive. Oh, why, it's a completely blue sky. Who predicted this? Visions of love appear, clouds passing through. All of my life I see, passing beautifully, just waiting here for you. Around the corner, an old dog appears, stands in the summer sun, waiting for love to come. Wish you were here. Wish you were here. Wish you were here. Ooh, oh, 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 la, la. Wish you were here. And here you are. We have a good show for you today with a fine string band which has come up from Portland, Oregon, but they're originally from Washington. They're Washingtonians, and you can tell that once you will hear them play. You will hear them, they are yours. We have a wonderful flatfoot dancer, Charmaine Slavin, going to dance right here on this very board. You have seen her in the farmers markets around town, and you have not stopped, but now you have, and so you'll see them. And because it will be Midsummer's Day in just a week, slightly more than a week, a day that deserves to be celebrated, especially in the northern states. We have a fabulous Swedish, they're from Seattle, but still, they're Swedish. They imagine they're Swedish, and so don't tell them differently. Wonderful fiddle trio with guitar. Skolkis is here. And there's plenty of room to dance, those of you who are Swedes. And if you're shy, which of course Swedes would be, the woods out there, you can, sound gets all the way out there. Because how many more perfect summer days will we have? We don't know. We don't. 90. Okay, thank you. Someone knows. I wasn't clear on that myself, but 90. All right, 90. But still, it's a limited number. And for a day this perfect, 90 is not too many. As poets have tried to point out to us over the centuries, this is what we know who are English majors. We know that time passes. Not so quickly when you are actually in class, but once you graduate, time passes swiftly. So seize the day. Carpe diem. I just said something so profound I had to stop and think about it. I'm sorry, were we going to do a song? Okay, all right. Oh, daffodils we weep to see, you haste away so soon. As yet the early morning sun had not attained its noon. So gather roses while ye may, for time is still a-flying. And this same flower that smiles today, tomorrow will be dying. There was a time when grove and stream and every common sight had all the freshness of a dream and radiance so bright. Though nothing can bring back the hour of splendor in the grass, the loveliness of summer flower, its glory soon is past. A lot of splendor in the grass out there. I can see it from here. Oh, people bringing furniture in. People moving in for the summer, I see. Oh, the song called My Love is Like a Red, Red Rose. My love is like a red, red rose that's newly sprung in June. My love is like a melody that's sweetly played in tune. So, oh, my lovely lass, and I will love you still, my dear, as I'm sitting out there on the grass. Come live with me and be my love, midst valleys, woods, and fields, and we will all the pleasures prove that this brief summer yields. And we will sit upon the rocks by shallow waterfalls and listen to melodious flocks of birds sing madrigal. Mr. Richard Kriehn. From Pullman, Washington, Mr. Richard Kriehn. Oh, love's a never fixed mark, by tempests never shaken. The star to every wandering bark, whose depth has not been taken. Oh, love is not love, which alters when it alteration finds. It is a never fixed mark, the marriage of true minds. To see a world in a grain of sand, and heaven in a flower, infinity in the palm of your hand, eternity in an hour. Well, every morning, every night, some are born to sweet delight. Man was made for joy and woe, and through the world we onward go. Mr. Dworsky. wine, it comes in at the mouth. Love comes at the eye. Oh, wine, it comes in at the mouth. Love comes at the eye. And that is all we know of truth, for we grow old and die. I lift the glass up to my mouth, I look at you and sigh. I will make you brooches and toys for your delight. A bird song at morning, stars shine at night. And this shall be for music when no one else is near. A fine song for singing that only you shall hear. Mr. Chris Siebold playing the guitar. My love is like a red, red rose that's newly sprung in June. My love is like a melody that's sweetly played in tune. So fair art thou, my bonny lass, so deep in love am I, that I would love thee still, my dear, till all the seas run dry. The Barolo Boys Orchestra. Play another tune here, boys, then we're going to take a break, and then we are going to do a live broadcast of a Prairie Home Companion, my promise to you. The Barolo Boys Orchestra. We're going to pause and take a brief intermission, chance for you to stand up, turn around twice, anything you need to go find. Now's your chance to find it. Make yourselves comfortable on the grass, and we'll be back in about 6 minutes with a Prairie Home Companion. Oh, man walked by the insane asylum. They were all shouting 21, 21. So he decided to have a look, 'cause it sounded like they were having fun. He found a hole in the fence. He wanted to see what crazy people do. He put his eye up to the hole. They poked him with a sharp stick, and they yelled 22, 22, 22. Oh, oh. Oh, we've just lured a whole crowd of people in to pay money to sit on the grass. Who could have listened to this show for free sitting at home? Whoa, 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 whoa. What else can we do to get some money out of them? We'll sing a hymn and we'll pass the hat. We'll, or maybe not for a Seattle crowd. Okay, just remember, comedy is all about cliche, okay? All right? It's just for fun, okay? Don't take it seriously. I don't, obviously. They're just for fun. All right. How's the phone company dealing with you, Mr. Scheutzker? Are we going to be on the air, or are we going to be playing a recording of a show we did back in 1894? 3 seconds. I hear that old piano from down the avenue. I smell the Pinot Noir, I look around for you. Oh, my sweet, sweet, sweet someone coming through that door. It's Saturday and the band is playing. Honey, could we ask for more? Whoa, whoa, whoa. Coming to you live from Chateau Ste, just outside Seattle. Seattle, in the Pacific Northwest on the Puget Sound. It's a broadcast of a Prairie Home Companion, presented by American Public Media and produced by Prairie Home Productions. Mr. Richard Dworsky back here at the grand piano, and the Barolo boys there. Mr. Richard Kriehn playing the mandolin and the fiddle. Chris Siebold is playing the drums. Larry Steen is back there on the bass, and Bernie Dresel playing the drums. Our radio acting company is with us, Sue Scott, Tim Russell, and Mr. Fred Newman, our sound effects man. Tonight's show is brought to you by the Ford Fusion with available blind spot technology and standard rear view camera. It's not just about how it looks, it's about how it sees. Ford, go further. We have a good show for you today. We're outdoors here at the Chateau Ste Winery out in Woodinville, out on the east side of Seattle. So it was an adventure getting here. So happy to be here. We have this fine flat dancer, Squirrel Butter here, and Charlie Beck playing the banjo, and Charmaine Slavin. Charmaine, you've seen her in the farmer's market. She dances like this. It's just... Charmaine Slavin and Charlie Beck there playing the banjo. It's almost midsummer here in Washington, and we have this fine Swedish fiddle trio back here to play you some music for when you build your bonfire for Midsummer's Day and you want to dance. You want to have 3 fiddlers, and a guitar player. Skolkis is the name of this fine group there. Oh, fantastisk. I mag die svensk. Oh, ja. Skolkis is with us, playing you Swedish music for this beautiful summer day in Seattle. And come all the way up from Portland, where they have gone after they left the state of Washington. They went down there to Portland. Who knows why, but they're still a Washington band. We consider them as such. Klauder here, the country band, with Reeb Willms here to sing duets for you. Oh, just listen to this.
Oh, can I go home with you, sweetheart? Can I go home with you? I see you walk around the room. I watch every little thing you do. When you talk to everybody, and you do it with such style. And I go home with you, sweetheart, and stay with you a little while. Home with you, sweetheart, and stay with you a while.
Klauder Country Band, out from Portland, Oregon. Reeb Willms, there. Have a good show. Oh, yes. We're going out to Washington to wander Fuca Strait. Wenatchee and Othello, Snoqualmie and Soap Lake. Anacortes, Walla Walla, Snohomish, Pandaray, Issaquah, and Lillywop. So many names that you just love to say here in the state of Washington. Whoa, 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 whoa. So good to be here with you. Seattle, Washington, not a cloud in the sky. Great tall trees there in the forest and people sitting out stunned. They are stunned by sunlight. Just amazing, isn't it? It's like a miracle. I mean, it is a miracle, actually. Sunny skies today in Seattle. Sunny skies all week, the forecast. And if the sun is shining on Seattle, there's no limit to what else might come to pass. Maybe they will find a cure for aging. Maybe rain will fall in L.A. Maybe we'll know why hockey goes until July. Maybe Donald Trump will go away. Perhaps our kids are better educated than one would think from all the current theories. Perhaps there will be peace in the Middle East and the Mariners will be in the World Series. As the sun is shining in Seattle, so anything is possible, my dear. So if you're feeling down and you need to leave that town, maybe you should head right out here. Oh, Seattle, Washington, right out here. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Yes, we are coming to you live from Seattle, the city of obsessive book readers in skinny jeans and earbuds, spiritual, not religious, coffee hounds, people who will pay any amount of money whatsoever for fancy ice cream and pastry, and people who earn their living looking at computer screens and spend their weekends jumping off cliffs. This is the stereotype of Seattle, and it's not a bad stereotype as stereotypes go. You really could have a lot worse. It's the headquarters of Amazon, the company that wants to be the place where you buy anything that you would ever want. They don't offer mortuary services yet, but it's a matter of time. You know, it's on its way because we're all getting older. And it's the home of the coffee shop, which was founded by people who loved Herman Melville's Moby Dick, and so they had the logo of the mermaid. She used to have bare breasts, but her hair has grown longer now and covers that. They almost named the company Pequod after Captain Ahab's ship in the novel. But wisely, they chose to name it Starbucks instead for the first mate on the Pequod. If you had named a coffee shop Pequod, it wouldn't have been as big a success. Pequod. A lot of people would have just come in looking for a public toilet. That's all. And so they did the right thing. Some things don't change quickly. In Seattle, they're still trying to dig that tunnel along the waterfront to replace that elevated highway. That was the most beautiful highway to drive along if you like scenery, but never mind. And but there was an earthquake hazard, and so they brought in a Japanese tunneling machine, which has gotten stuck. So now they're 2 years behind on that. It ran into a well casing that the engineers somehow forgot was down there, and that chewed up some of the blades. It was a pleasure for the rest of us to see engineers make a mistake like that, and so that was a bonus. And but the replacement parts are on the way, and so the people who are digging the tunnel are kind of upbeat. We're over on the east side of Seattle, and so to get over here, we had the opportunity to drive across the floating bridge over Lake Washington, which is very exciting because engineers also consider it to be a hazard and needs to be replaced immediately. Immediately it needs to be replaced, but nothing ever is immediate in Seattle. Why? Because it has so many educated people here, and they love public meetings, and they love to have their say. I mean, it goes on and on and on forever. If somebody... And they're not ashamed of it either. If somebody proposed building the Tower of Babel here, it would never get built. They would talk that thing to death. That's all. The pyramids, people, there were no impact meetings for the pyramids. They went and built the Statue of Liberty. Same thing. The French sent over this statue of a goddess, and it got to America, and people said, "Well, what are we going to do with it? We'll put it on this little island there, and make sure you put a light on top of it so ships will not run into it." That's the whole story there. Oh, Seattle, there's just no place like it. No place whatsoever like it. Good or bad, that's just a fact. Shell Oil Company. Shell Oil moved a big drilling rig. Speaking of the Statue of Liberty, they moved a big drilling rig into Seattle Harbor on its way to Alaska. And it was like putting up a statue of Hillary in Waco, Texas. It was, whoa. Everybody just levitated when they saw that drilling rig out there, and people paddled their kayaks out into the harbor, and they yelled at the drilling rig for a while. And then afterward, they came and met in small groups in coffee shops and talked about how it made them feel. It's only in Seattle. It's a town that used to not care about sports, but that's because their teams were so terrible. And people who don't win prizes like to look down on prizes, you know, and think that they're above it all. But when the Seahawks went to the Super Bowl, whoa! Suddenly it mattered a lot. It mattered a lot. A lot of people would be happy to go directly from just leave off with baseball season and just go directly into football season as soon as possible. Well, that's the news from. Well, no, marijuana is legal here, and it's very expensive. So Republicans are smoking it now, and people who believe in the invisible hand of the market, you know, they're now seeing faces of people in clouds, and you know, getting together to smoke pot in board meetings and all of that. Back in the day, they promised a chicken in every pot, and now you put pot in chicken soup, and it doesn't cure a cold, but it gives you a lot of insight into it. So that's the news. That's the news from here. We're in Redmond, near Redmond. We're near Woodinville, and we're near Redmond, which of course is the headquarters of Microsoft. I was 40 when I first heard of MS-DOS and Microsoft Word. I tried it out and was convinced, and we've been married ever since. Before I met up Microsoft, I wrote on an Underwood typewriter on copy paper, as I imagine a writer should, and then the ease of that blue screen to copy, paste, and save, delete, auto format, find, replace, puts a man on easy street. I don't know about third-party formats, RTF or WordArt. I just know that 5.1 is written in my heart. All those windows on my screen, a novel and a screenplay, and this song that I wrote today for the show, and a column that's due later today. I sit and work here happily all day for hours and hours, like a horse grazing in the meadow, like a hummingbird in the flowers. In the beginning was the Word, and other systems may be preferred. They may be faster, or so I've heard, but my affections won't be transferred. Back in my writing loft, it's always Microsoft. An Apple notebook and a Microsoft Word is all I will ever need. And someday, when they're obsolete, I will hang on and not concede. Well, I'll be deaf and 95. I'll be the last word user left alive. I'll be old and dumb and gone to seed, writing stuff no one else can read. Unicorns, moonlight, and stardust. I don't care, I am an artist. That's my song to Microsoft. Being right here in the neighborhood. You know, folks, it's so wonderful to wake up in the morning and be greeted by a faithful friend. But in today's busy world, there just isn't time to commit to a dog, and so more and more people are using Roy's Rent-A-Dog. Whatever type of dog you need, faithful friend, hunter, security guard, or show dog, you can rent your next dog from Roy for a day, a week, or a month, however long you'd like. How about this Great Dane who stands 5 feet tall at the shoulders? You will never, ever need to lock your home with a dog like this. If you're nervous about sending your teenage daughter to a dance with a boy you've never met, this dog would be a good companion for them. If people are coming around to your home to ask you for a major contribution that you just can't afford, this is your dog right here. If you're just plain tired of Jehovah's Witnesses, yes, Roy's Rent-A-Dog. Roy's is hereby.
Yes, Roy's is hereby not liable for damages to home or inhabitants caused by a dog, including but not limited to ripping, scratching, biting, marking, terrifying, destroying, demolishing, swallowing, or any personal injuries, including death or dismemberment.
Roy's Rent-A-Dog. Get that dog out of here, please. Oh, so glad to have these two musicians with us. I've seen them on video playing in the farmers markets, and people are just stunned. They're absolutely amazed to walk by them and see that banjo player and see this young woman with these interesting black shoes on the piece of wood here, playing the rhythm guitar, and they've never ever seen this in their lives, and you haven't either, and now you will. So please welcome Squirrel Butter right here, Charmaine and David.
Well, you wanna been uptown when old Reuben's train come down. You could head west or blow 100 miles. It taught me to weep, it taught me to moan, it taught me to leave my good old home. Oh, honey, are you mad at your man? Oh. If you don't believe I'm right, then find me here tonight. I'll show you what a body can do. Lord, I've been to the east, I've been to the west, I've been to the girl I love best. Oh, honey, are you mad at your man? If my gal says so, go railroad no more. I'll sidetrack my train and go home. Yeah, Ruth been in love but one little girl. She lived about a mile from town. She stuck her head in the driver's wheel. Lord, her body ain't never been found. Oh, honey, are you mad at your man? Old Reuben had a train from England to Spain. You'd head west or blow 100 miles. Oh, me, oh, Lordy, my, you get head west or blow 100 miles. Oh, honey, are you mad at your man?
Charlie Beck, Charmaine Slavin, singing, dancing, and playing guitar, all three at the same time. Oh, you would really class up this show, I tell you. I don't know why it took us so long to find you. Boy, I could do anything on this show if I just had a woman clog dancing there. Buck dancing, we call it too, right?
Call me anytime, Gary.
Huh? You call what do you call it flat foot dancing?
Flat footing, yes.
Flat footing.
Yes.
Flat footing.
Uh-huh.
Where'd you get that off? A DVD somewhere? Have you been off to the countryside in Alabama?
I learned from a great old pal, Sarah Corey. She lives in Ireland now.
Uh-huh.
Great gal, great dancer, and I started following around. I thought it looked so cool, and she said, Charmaine, you should learn this. So she bestowed upon me some steps.
Try something here with me.
All right.
There was an old fellow of Bellingham, so stubborn that there was no telling him. His wife said, my dear, I wish you weren't here. He ignored her and she wound up selling him. A horn player down in Astoria arose in a state of euphoria and happily honked us a Pachelbel Sanctus and also Benedictus and Gloria. A young fellow left Puget Sound to move to Spokane, and he found that he hated blue sky and the air was too dry and the coffee improperly ground. A young man climbed up Mount Rainier on a day that was perfectly clear, and through his spyglass he watched a jackass steal his bicycle and disappear. Wum bum ba bum, a dim ba da dim. Is that a good tempo for you? A fellow from Snoqualmie Pass would often pass vast baths of glass. What did I just say? What did I just say? Play that back for me. A fellow from Snoqualmie Pass would often pass vast blasts of gas, and did once, alas, at a Catholic Mass, and disastrously stained all the glass. There is an old man on the res who was here to welcome Cortez, and he took Captain Cook around for a look, and Lewis and Clark, so he says. A lady who lived in Vancouver drank 2 quarts of stain remover, and did not get ill and vomit, but still it didn't do much to improve her. There was a young man of Mount Baker who thought of becoming a Quaker, but he couldn't keep silent and often was violent and did not believe in the Maker. Hey, Charmaine. Hey, you're great. Squirrel Butter. They're going to come back just in a little bit. This portion of our show brought to you by the VFW, Veterans of Failed Weddings. When you're looking for marital counseling, why not come to someone who's been there more than once? Somebody like me. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm having a hard time at home. It just seems like she's angry all the time. I can't do anything right. She told me that we need counseling, so I'm coming to you.
Okay, so let me just guess here. The bathroom is full of her stuff, right? Every
Yeah.
shelf there, and there's hundreds of different, cleansers and lotions and emollients and refreshers. She's got a special cream for her eyelids and another one for her earlobes and so forth. And you get to have a razor and deodorant, right? Am I right?
That's exactly right.
Right. Well, okay. Live with it, okay? Just live with it, all right?
Okay.
And she comes in and she shows you 2 skirts and she asks, which one do you like better? And they both look exactly the same, and so, but she expects an answer, and so you say, well, that one, and she likes the other one, right?
Exactly.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Live with it, okay? It's just, it comes with the deal.
Okay.
She drags you off to a movie and you hate it. You sit there in agony, and then on the way home, she says, you didn't like it, did you? And you have to say, no, really, I really, this is wonderful, right?
Exactly, yeah, she does that.
Okay.
Right, we do, yeah.
Accept these things, accept her as she is, but don't give up the things that make you happy, okay? What sort of things make you happy?
Well, one thing I really get a lot of pleasure out of is playing tunes on my set of car horns.
Okay.
Yeah, and she says I can't do it in the house anymore, you know.
Okay, well, like what? Play me something then.
Okay. Me, 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 me.
Okay, all right.
I didn't hit the right last note. So.
What else makes you happy?
Well, I know it may seem strange to some people, but I get a particular pleasure out of shooting bath toys with a pistol.
You mean like a real pistol?
Yeah, like this. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
She hates that.
So what else gives you pleasure?
Let me see. Well, okay, this is going to seem weird, I know, but I really love to translate poetry into the Basque language. For example, this, Allen Ginsberg poem, Howl,
Right.
Translated into Basque.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, there's more?
That's about an hour more.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right, so
those just those three things are my.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, you want my advice?
Yeah.
Yeah. Why did you get married?
I wanted to be with someone who gets me, you know?
You know something?
What?
I think only another man is going to understand, really. I think
Maybe.
I think
Maybe
a
you're
woman is not going to get you.
Maybe you're right. Probably not. Yeah.
So I think you better look for a guy.
Well, I'm not attracted to guys.
Well, find one who loves car horns and guns. A Basque. A Basque
Basque.
guy.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
I think
Okay.
same-sex marriage is the answer for you, okay?
Okay. All right, thank you.
From the VFW, Veterans of Failed Weddings. You want straight talk about weddings, you just come to us. This first portion of our show really brought to you by Powder Milk Biscuits in the big blue box with a picture of the biscuit on the cover. Heavens, they're tasty and expeditious, made from whole wheat that gives shy persons the strength to get up and do what needs to be done. Has your family tried them powder milk? Has your family tried them powder milk? Well, if your family's tried them all, you know you satisfied them. They're the real hot item powder milk. Whoa, 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 whoa. Shall come to you live from the east side of Seattle in this fine Scandinavian band, Swedish, I believe. Skolkis coming up to play some music for Midsummer Day, which is just a week away. You should start planning your party now because you want it to be big, big for the longest day of the year. The Adventures of Guy Noir, Private Eye coming up as well. And this fine band which joins us from Portland, Oregon, though they're, at least the two of you are originally from state of Washington out there. You, Caleb, you grew up what? Out on the coast, out on an island, a small deserted island.
Deserted island.
With
yes.
mutant goats and a lighthouse?
That's correct.
No? Did I get that wrong?
Oh, no, that's perfect.
That's perfect, okay. All right.
Describes it just right.
And Reeb Willms, you grew up in the center of the state.
I did.
Out in the desert.
That's right.
The desert east of here.
Mm-hmm.
And then you met.
And then we met.
You met midway in between the middle and the island on the coast, and you formed this beautiful duet. They perform in a band called Foghorn String Band.
Foghorn String
That's
Band.
right.
Foghorn String Band, where they do old classic tunes and then they do their own tunes. Caleb wrote these tunes for this fine country band here. Clean cut country music. Please welcome here Caleb Klauder and Reeb Willms.
Thank you. The good book every day. Gonna let my Savior show me the way. Gonna let him take me by the hand as I walk along down the promised land. This is home, home, I'm going home, going down that innocent road. Swim in the river wide. Gonna lay my burdens on the other side. Gonna take a walk down the Jericho road. Gonna lay down my heavy load. This is home, home, I'm going home, going down that innocent road. rejoice when the angels sing. Gonna take a ride on the speckled wing. I'm gonna see my friends and my loved ones there, where all eternal joys we can share. This is home, home. I'm going home, going down that innocent road. Oh, yes, it's home, home. I'm going home, going down that innocent road. Thank you.
Wow, what a song, what a song. You have the knack for writing a song so it sounds like it was written 100 years ago. That's good.
you
I've
very
never heard of an innocent road. I've heard of a lonesome road and a weary
use that
road.
one again.
A long lonesome road. What is an innocent road? If I
I think you might have to just go there yourself and find out.
Is that the best answer you could come up with, Mr. Claude? An innocent
I was
road.
thinking while that song was going on, you might ask that question.
An innocent road.
Yeah.
An innocent road.
It's maybe one where you feel like you've done everything right.
Uh-huh.
Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. It's a good question.
I think when you get to be my age, Caleb, you'll find it harder to sing about an innocent road.
I wrote that song a long time ago.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. What you gonna do here, Reeb?
Well, we're going to do another one of Caleb's songs. It's called New Shoes.
New shoes. We know what that is.
All right. Take you down to Louisiana a little bit. Oh, now if you're going down to New Orleans, baby, won't you take me with you? Oh, 'cause I can't stand sitting around wondering what it is that you do. All night seems the way that you talk to me ain't like the way you used to. Oh, and if things around here don't straighten out, gonna buy myself some new shoes. I'm gonna walk away from your heart. I'm gonna sing my way back home. Do, do, do. All night Louisiana and Baton Rouge, Newton Town, I sing the blues to you. Oh, said I call you on the telephone, I find out you're not all alone and I'm blue. Oh, so I walk on down to the Five and Dime, I buy some shoes that start to look real fine today. Oh, and I got my head up high, I never cry, I'll carry on that way. And I'm gonna walk away from your heart. I'm gonna sing my way back home. I'm gonna walk away from your heart. I'm gonna sing my way back home. Do, do, do. Oh, Rusty Blake on the steel guitar. Telephone, I find out you're not all alone and I'm blue. Oh, so I walk on down to the Five and Dime, I buy some shoes that start to look real fine today. Oh, and I got my head up high and I never cry, I carry on that way. I'm gonna walk away from your heart. I'm gonna sing my way back home. I'm gonna walk away from your heart. I'm gonna sing my way back home. Oh, I'm gonna walk
Caleb Klauder Country Band. Mr. Russ Blake down there on that fine steel guitar. Mr. Sam Weiss playing the fiddle. Ed Folkett back there on the drums. Reeb, Willms, and Caleb Klauder. Let's bring up our acting company here.
A dark night in a city that knows how to keep its secrets. But one man is still trying to find the answers to life's persistent questions. Guy Noir, Private Eye.
It was June, and I was in Seattle. I was working on some missing persons cases. Traffic in Seattle is sort of like Cairo and Mumbai combined, and every month a couple dozen people just walk away from their vehicles on Interstate 5 and leave them, and it was my job to track them down. I found one of them in a pasture in eastern Oregon.
That's right. I was the vice president at Starbucks, and it took me an hour to drive 4 miles, and, well, one day I just walked away from it, and I've been happy ever since.
So you're up here herding sheep, I see.
Yes. I wrote a poem about it. It's called Serenity.
I don't want to hear it, okay?
It's
so
not a long poem.
put
It's
it away. Give it to that sheep right there. Let her take it. You owe the city of Seattle $300 for towing and storage, by the way.
Tell them they can keep the car.
All right, just sign right here, sir.
No problem there.
I found another fugitive in a lighthouse on a small island about 10 miles off the coast.
Oh, I loved Seattle, everything about it, and then I couldn't afford the rent, and I had to move up just north of the... Such a godsend out here. I love this island. I can see whales and ships, and the air is so... Olden by Henry Thoreau, so I'm writing a lot. And then my cell phone ran out of power, and you know what? I don't even care. I don't need anything other than just the $2,000 a month and free room and board, and I don't know that I will ever go back, ever. You know?
But what about the... Bother you even more, or no?
I'm sorry, what are you talking about?
I'm talking about the foghorn there.
I'm sorry, what about the...
One refugee I found in a cave on Bainbridge Island.
Yeah, I went to work at Mastodon as the manager.
Mastodon?
Mastodon, yeah.
Right.
It's the online retail store.
You mean like Amazon?
Yeah, but bigger. I mean, much bigger.
Why have I never heard of it?
Because they don't want you to know.
Oh, I see. So
Yeah.
they sell books and CDs?
Yeah, I mean, they sell everything. I was the manager of the mortuary division.
Oh.
Yeah.
Mastodon offers mortuary services online. Huh?
Yeah, you drag the body out to the curb, UPS picks it up, 2 days later you get an urn.
Oh.
Yeah, I grew that division. It was grossing $500 million a year, and then...
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, one day then I'm riding my bike, and I hit the curb, I fell, and I hit my head, and I lay there, and I was awakened by the roar of a furnace.
Uh-huh.
You know, I'm on like a conveyor belt,
Yes.
you know, heading right for it.
Right.
That was a close call.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I came up here.
Wow. Mastodon was booming, that's for sure. So was Amazon, so was Genghis Khan, other online retailers. People had no time to go shopping, you see, because they were too busy texting.
Hey, what's up?
Oh, not much. You?
Just sitting here
Where are you?
across the table from you.
Oh, right. Did you get a haircut?
No.
Oh, but you look different.
Well, I dyed my hair blue.
Oh, okay.
Where are you going?
To the bathroom.
Okay, later.
Later.
It was fun in Seattle. City doing well, sunny skies, people were upbeat. Rents were expensive, so some people had to live on hillsides and refrigerator cartons, but on the other hand, it was a beautiful time to be rich. At the Redmond Polo Club, high-tech execs played matches on weekends while their wives sipped cocktails on the veranda and knitted bed shawls for orphans in third world countries. And it was there that I met Kimberly Wazoo.
Oh, excuse me. excuse me, you're a private eye, aren't you?
Yes, right. And you're an extremely wealthy woman, aren't you?
Well, so you follow people around and you find out bad stuff about them, right?
Yeah, sometimes I do, yes.
Okay, well, I have just done something very, very bad, and I really need your help.
Okay, my pleasure. The name is Noir, Guy Noir.
My name is Wazoo, Kimberly Wazoo. My husband is Upton Wazoo.
Oh, I see, yes. Name is familiar.
He's the CEO of Mastodon.
The online retailer.
Yes, the very one.
So how can I help?
Would you mind if we discuss this over lunch?
Oh. So she took me to a little restaurant in Woodinville called Seattle Atelier, where the decor was sort of frontier French, and we sat in the back corner.
Well, hey guys, I'm Brad. Welcome to the Seattle Atelier.
Yes.
Would you like glacier water or snow-capped water?
Glacier.
Oh, I'll have snow caps, please.
Snow-capped, excellent. And how about the ambient sound waterfall or white whales?
How about silence?
Oh, that's
Silence,
Yeah.
okay. Hushed silence or snowflakes on pine boughs?
Hushed.
Oh,
That
excellent,
sounds good.
excellent.
Okay.
Okay. Our wine special today is a Chardonnay, okay? And while you think about that, here's a little fiddlehead fern sorbet to clear the palate.
Oh,
There you
okay.
go.
Thank you.
Yeah, and you enjoy that. I'll be right back
right.
with your salmon flights.
Oh,
Okay, thank you.
So,
Yes.
tell me about your problem, Mrs. Wazoo.
Yes, well, I'm afraid that he didn't hear you. You asked for silence. I think he thought you said whales.
That does sound like whales.
Yes, it does,
Unless
it
those
does.
peacocks are coming closer and closer. I
Well,
don't
that
know.
could be as well.
Yes.
Yes.
Anyway, tell me what I can do for you
Yes,
there.
yes. Well, my husband, Mr. Noir, is a huge fan of the sculptor Alberto Giacometti.
I see.
He's crazy about him. He talks
Yes.
about him all the time.
Yes, the sculptor who made those little skinny figures.
Yes, right, of course, yes. So when I saw that there was an art auction and a Giacometti was up, well, I called in and I made a bid.
I see, yes.
Oh, hey guys,
yes,
here's your
hello.
salmon tastings.
Okay.
Organized by river. First,
Okay.
Alder smoked salmon from the Lewis River, which
okay.
will have a nose of pear bursting with a buttery abundance and a subtle upstream ferocity with fruit forward.
Oh, thank you. Great. Excellent. Excellent.
Good, and next from the Icicle River, salmon with a smoky oak palate with shadows of amber and just a hint of musk.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
And finally, one of my favorites, white wild king salmon from the Cowlitz River. Caught by a fly fisherman, so you know it has a bouquet of beer and a long finish of bourbon.
Oh, perfect. Just
Yeah.
perfect.
Okay,
Yes,
there you
thank
go.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you, yes.
So, the Giacometti
Yes, of course,
sculpture.
yes. Well, so I bid on the statue, and the bidding went really, really fast, and I just kept saying yes because I knew how much Upton would just love it.
Right.
Anyway, I wound up as the highest bidder
Well, congratulations.
at $169 million.
Wow. Some sculpture, huh?
Yes, this sculpture right here.
Oh. I'm not sure you should be walking around in public with a sculpture that's worth $169 million. ma'am.
Yes, you see, that is just it.
For what?
It turns out it is not a Giacometti.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, it's from the Serengeti.
Oh, Serengeti.
Yes, yes. It's
Africa.
By, right. It's by a farmer named Amos Mobutu.
Well, you've made him a very, very happy man, I guess.
And his wife.
Yes.
They're in the midst of a divorce.
I see. So they've cashed the check.
Oh, yes. It was a wire transfer and it went through, and now the money is gone.
So, and the sculpture is.
It's worth about $50. Yeah.
Well, your husband is a multi-billionaire. You know.
So I thought
You thought.
the bank called.
And?
We are heavily, heavily leveraged, you might say.
Yes.
And 169 million has thrown us into the red zone.
So you can't borrow?
No way.
You can sell stock.
No,
though.
it's all tied up as collateral.
So what do you want me to do?
I want you to tell my husband.
Tell your husband.
Yes,
All right.
please.
Okay.
Oh, so guys,
Oh, yeah.
how was the salmon flight?
Oh.
You ready for some caffeination?
No, I've got to run. So.
Yes.
Oh, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
the credit card you gave me was declined. Might you have another?
Mr. Noir.
How much is it, sir?
$646.79.
All right. That was some salmon, I'll say that. She gave me her cell phone with a GPS that could track Mr. Wazoo's car, so I found him pretty quickly. He was in a line of cars down by the waterfront, waiting for the ferry to Bainbridge Island. He was the 10th in line, and he was honking. Sir, hey, you, in there, come on, roll your window down.
Don't give the panhandle.
But what are you honking for here?
Get your head out of my window.
This is not Midtown Manhattan, this is Seattle, okay?
I honk. What's the matter with that?
There's a line here. The line isn't going to go any faster if you sit here and honk.
Okay, what business is it?
These people are listening to KUOW. These are public radio listeners. They're not interested in how loud you can honk here, sir.
Oh,
Please.
really? Who made you the politeness police?
Okay,
huh?
just stifle it. Just stifle it. I've got a message for you from Kimberly.
What? What are you talking about?
Yeah,
Kimberly,
just
what?
Hold on to your steering wheel there, Mr. Wazoo.
What?
You are broke.
What?
She bought a gift for you for $169 million.
Oh.
It broke the camel's back.
No.
Your company is in receivership. You're bankrupt.
No.
Your plastic is canceled.
No, can't
the
be.
gas and the water have been turned off.
No.
And I see a man who's walking up here right now who looks to me like he's from the bank.
The bank?
Hey, Wazoo?
Yeah?
Yeah, repo man. Hand over the keys to the car here.
What? How am I supposed to get home? You can't...
What, home?
Oh, no.
Yeah.
No, but my kids.
That's your mother-in-law's.
In Omaha?
Right. Your father-in-law has a job waiting for you.
In the butcher shop?
You're going to be making sausage, Wazoo.
But I can't live in Omaha.
It'll be a motivator for you to pay off the $300 million you still owe us.
No.
Okay, out of the car, Wazoo. I ain't going.
1 minute, he was a kingpin and a job creator, and the next, he was a sausage maker. I slipped him a 5. Here you go, pal. Good luck to you. All right. Went and sat down by a fountain there by the waterfront. All these children playing around there, innocent kids, full of the joy of life. And I looked out at the bay and I said to myself, I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and for you. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. And I stood up, and I guess one of the kids had tied my shoelaces together, and I took one step. Whoa! Oh, gosh. I landed face down on the sidewalk, and there had been dogs around there pretty recently. It's a wonderful world. It really is. But you want to watch where you're going, okay?
A dark night in a city that keeps its secrets. But one man is still trying to find the answers to life's persistent questions. Guy Noir, Private Eye.
A show coming to you from Seattle. Somebody sent me a little bag of coffee beans this last week, a little brown bag, and I couldn't even make out a label, a brand, but it said Columbia, and it was numbered. There was a serial number on it. Wow, it was just fabulous, just fabulous. This is a song that Franz Schubert and I wrote about coffee. I got up this morning, saw the rising of the dawn, and got the morning paper and put the coffee on. The news was gray and dismal, one could sit and weep almost, except for the aroma of Colombian dark roast. So intensely aromatic, passion, romance in the air, and then the soft percussion of your feet upon the stair. In your old blue bathrobe and your golden hair, I get the cups and saucers and a loaf of bread homemade, 2 slices for the toaster to spread with marmalade. And though the news be dismal, God has given us our bread. and a cup of coffee to rouse my sleeping head. Sometimes nights seem even longer, long dark thoughts at 2 and 3, and then I smell the coffee. Columbia, hail to thee. And I hear your footsteps descending gracefully. Never been to see Colombia, never been to Bogota, but I regard this coffee with gratitude and awe, which makes me feel romantic. La 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 la, la 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 la. Coffee lovers out here? All right, it's time now to think about Midsummer Day. This has to be a bigger holiday than it is currently in America. It's a huge holiday in Sweden, in Denmark. I remember Midsummer Day or Chateau Ste. They would light bonfires on the shore late into the night, which means staying up all night because the sun hardly ever goes down. And they just had a rollicking, wonderful time. We need one more party, one more holiday, one more date in the North. And this is it, people. So, the 20th or the 21st, take your choice. And you can't hire this band because they're already hired. And they're going to be in Astoria, I believe. But they're going to play for you here just to give you an idea. Little fiddle music around a bonfire as the sun is still up high in the sky. Emma Anderson, Martha Levinson, Vicky Watt Warshaw, and E.J. Landsman. Please welcome Skolkis here. Long Dance from Sveaplan. Swedish tune. Oh, people walking across the grass over there to the wine tent. The moment they started playing, they started walking more gracefully. It's just a beautiful thing. What is a long dance? It doesn't mean that it lasts a long time. It's a long line of people, is it not?
Yes, it's a long line of people all stepping together and moving in different formations. And sometimes it's very long. But sometimes it's just to get the dancers to come together. It doesn't seem long.
It doesn't feel long.
No, never.
Once you get moving in it. 3 of our musicians here went to Oberlin and 1 to Carleton, and so that's why they play so beautifully, and that's how they are able to be whoever they want to be. They can be Swedish, they can be anybody they want to be. This is a piece called Ombudsnaden. No? Was that close?
It was very close. Ombygnaden.
Yes, of course. Isn't that what I said?
Exactly.
Yes. Thank you. And it means a committee formed to organize the long dance.
Well, it's the house building polska, but maybe they're organizing the long dance while they're building that house.
Okay. All right. This is our last tune here on the first half of our show. So if you are heading over to the wine tent here, you can head over to the tune of this dance and feel what it feels like to be graceful and to be Swedish at the same time. Skolkis, Emma Anderson, Martha Levinson, Vicky Warshaw, E.J. Landsman, Swedish fiddle music for Midsummer Midsummer Day. It's going to be a big party at your house. We're all coming. We'll all be there. So make sure you have everything that you ought to have. We're going to pause now, take a brief intermission. I will just say, in behalf of your mother, did you bring suntan lotion? Did you bring sunblock? Did you? I think now is the time to put it on, and then we'll be back with the second half of our show. You're listening to a Prairie Home Companion coming to you from the Chateau Ste Winery just outside Seattle. Welcome back to the second half of our live broadcast of a Prairie Home Companion, coming to you live under a clear blue sky here in Seattle. Yes, Seattle, S-E-A-T-T-L-E. We're just on the east side of town. We're on the grounds of the oldest winery in the state of Washington, the Chateau Ste. Over here. Here's a note to Dylan. Dylan, listen to this. The note is no. Stop drinking out of the toilet. We should be home soon. All right. I don't know. I just read. They give me notes. I read them. Happy birthday, Dawn, 62. Lucy graduated from college. Mom, after single-handedly raising 3 doctors, 2 dentists, and a nurse, I think you can cancel your health insurance. We've got you covered, says Alyssa. Mom and Dad wish Joel the best of luck with the Bigfoot movie premiere. And greetings to the Norwegian male chorus of Seattle as they travel to Salem, Oregon for Songerfest. Oh. Hello to Jim. Remember to feed the kids, says John. Congratulations to Sam Landsman, who is graduating in chemical engineering from the University of Washington this weekend. That's what we need, is one more good chemical engineer. A biological one, too, in his case. Maggie and Greg would like to welcome the world next week to the 115th U.S. Open, hosted by Chambers Bay in University Place, Washington, the first time ever held in the Pacific Northwest. I just have to believe what people tell me. I mean, I don't have a checker to go through all of these things here. A big shout out to my father, who is flying his glider in Ephrata this weekend, 1 year after his stroke. Love from your daughter, Karen. Did I mispronounce that? Ephrata? Ephrata. I was afraid that I had mispronounced Ephrata as Ephrata, and I apologize to all of you Ephratians out there. Mom and Dad, say hello to Sadie and Gray. We've left you to your own devices, and by devices we mean your iPhones and iPads. Enjoy. Happy birthday to Todd Behrens and Penny Pickering, Bill Whistler, to Mia, Emma Rosen, Olivia Skywalker, Layla, Carolyn, and Dee. Special thanks to Holiday Vacations for their generous support of a Prairie Home Companion over the last few years. Next week, we're live from the Ravinia Festival in Highland Park, Illinois, on the north side of Chicago. John Fulbright will be with us, and Elvin Bishop and Howard Levy. And if you want to come and see where our show began back in 1974, McAllister College in St. Paul, we're going to do a live broadcast on the 4th of July with J.D. McPherson and Scandinavian nickel harpers Charm Blom and Geraldine and Javita Steele, Butch Thompson, Joe Newberry, all the regulars, all the information at our website, prairiehome.org. In Seattle, on the Puget Sound, here in the shadow of the Cascade Mountains, one of the earliest populated regions of North America, dating back to 9,000 BC. And before we Europeans got here, I just came a couple days ago, but before you got here, there were more than 100 distinct tribes and 50 dialects around the Puget Sound. And so we did them a great service by bringing in English. Boom. Speak English. Boom. Made life just so much simpler. They were here for the salmon and the oysters, same as you are, and also to watch the whales. Captain Cook sailed by here in 1778, and the Spanish explorers came, looked, saw, didn't like it, went back home. Russians were up north, of course, in Alaska. Lewis and Clark came in 1805. The U.S. and Great Britain sort of claimed the same area, but they signed a treaty in 1846, making the 19th parallel, the boundary, so to keep the Canadians up there, keep us down here. And in 1889, it became a state. Seattle was built on a mudflat. There was terrible drainage and sewage everywhere, but thank goodness there was a terrible fire in 1889, and it burned everything down, and that made it possible for the city to be designed properly and for things to happen that should have happened even before. We are about 3 hours from the Canadian border. We're 1.5 hours from the base of Mount Rainier. We're an hour from a ski slope, though skiing was a little this last year. Some of them didn't even open up there. 32 miles from Tiger Mountain near Issaquah, a great hang gliding hill. A couple hours from a very good salmon fishing, and 100 miles on a ferry ride from San Juan Island, where you can see the whales out there doing something out there. Seattle is in a boom period, a lot of money swirling around here, some of it due to Amazon, which is headquartered here, and which in 1 quarter last year grossed $19 billion. And Google and Microsoft, Expedia, REI, Nintendo, Starbucks, and so forth. There is a Ferrari Maserati dealership in town. There is not back where I come from, but there is one here. And Teslas, the electric cars that go for $100 grand. They're the Tesla owners out there. I see them waving, holding up their checkbooks. It's in the top 10 fastest growing cities in America. 18,000 new residents in only a year. So home prices are going up, 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 up. 19% from a year ago. National average is 3%. $500,000 house of a year ago now goes for $600,000. That was an easy math problem for an English major to work out. And it sells fast here. It just, in a day or two, people bidding the price up. So the city feels crowded, people standing on sidewalks waiting for a table in a restaurant. Farmers markets are crowded, and the brown eggs are gone by the time you get there. And one-bedroom apartment typically goes for about $1,400 a month, which, using the 30% standard, for how much you should pay for housing, means that to live in a one-bedroom apartment in Seattle, you would be earning $56,000 a year. Huh? But a person earning $15 an hour will only earn $31,000 a year. So there are people who work in the city who can't afford to live in it, and they have to live out in the ticky-tacky suburbs somewhere and sit in heavy traffic. They're the suburban people out there in the back under those expensive umbrellas. Have to sit in heavy traffic for hours a day. Seattle's traffic is rated 4th worst in the country, tied with New York after LA, San Francisco, and Honolulu. So you may as well take up flatfoot dancing. I mean, you're going to be out there anyway, so you could just dance alongside your car as you drive down the freeway. Yes, as Charmaine is demonstrating there. One thing that they're trying to keep a big secret in Seattle, as we can see all around us here, is that Seattle is getting sunnier and sunnier, and so the idea of Seattle as a rainforest, that's a long time ago. The winters are getting milder. Ski slope closest to Seattle hardly opened last winter, and that's just and there are no mosquitoes. Did you notice that? There are no mosquitoes. They just don't thrive here. They have they have other things. They have carpenter ants, spiders, but people can sit outside in flip-flops and a t-shirt and shorts and not even think about it. That's why you have so many Midwesterners who have moved to Seattle, is to get rid of the pestilence. The thing that is true about Seattle, however, is that everything is uphill. There's no downhill. No, it doesn't sound right, does it? But it's true. Everything is uphill in Seattle. Everywhere you go, you have to climb. Everything is an uphill battle if you want to get there on time. Excuse me, where is the Capitol Grill? It's 6 blocks up that hill. People do not coast in this town. They don't believe in the fall of man. They're never depressed or feel let down. If you're tired, you can move to Spokane. Maybe it's the fresh salt air. Maybe it's the coffee in your cup. You climb the hill and there is a stair and it goes up and up and up. Pedaling with powerful thighs on their upward routes, Seattleites are trying to rise and get above the clouds. They bike, they hike, they race up that long incline. They're heading for a place where there is sunshine. Excuse me, I'm looking for heaven. It's straight ahead, 6 blocks or 7. No sorrow, and we'll never be ill, yes. Right up that hill. Up the hill. Keep going. Charmaine Slavin here. Oh, Charmaine, this portion of our show is brought to you by Dancing Shoes. It's summer, and a beautiful woman is standing there holding your hand.
Oh, let's dance. Dance with me, Caleb.
But you, because of your fundamentalist upbringing, you cannot.
I can't, Carmen. I'm sorry.
But you can.
I can?
Yes, with a pair of Arthur D2 robotic dancing shoes. Air cushioned soles, you can look like a pro, even if you were brought up to think dancing was sinful.
Do you love me? 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 Now that I can dance. Watch me now! Wow!
Yes, watch him now. Even though he was brought up in a strict Calvinist creed, taught that any sort of rhythmic movement can turn him into a libertine. Now, look, he can, whoa.
Do the mashed potato.
Do the mashed potato.
Do the twist.
Do the twist.
Watch me, baby.
Watch me, baby.
Do you like it like this?
Do you
Like it like this.
Also available in Latin salsa.
Oh, yeah.
Foxtrot. Irish step dancing. Or classic ballet. Arthur D2 robotic dancing shoes, they do all the work. You just soak up the admiration. Charmaine Slavin, radio dancing. Member of Squirrel Butter, this duo here with Charlie Beck. I'm not even going to think about asking you what Squirrel Butter refers to. You're in the farming line of work, are you not?
I like to do a little farming on the side.
A little farming on which side? You raise goats. You're serious farmers, right?
Yes, so we had milk goats for a while.
Goats, chickens, pigeons.
Yep, rabbits.
Lemurs.
We avoided the lemur farming.
You have, okay.
Yeah,
You're not selling lemur milk. What else?
We're considering squirrels, going into squirrel dairy.
That would be labor intensive. But whatever you want, I'm sure you can do it. Do us a tune here. You're going to dance?
I think we're going to sing you a song. Charlie wrote this beautiful song. So.
Right.
Yes, and just before we do, I want to thank all our friends and family for their love and support this week.
Right.
And we want to wish Charmaine's mom, Rosa, a speedy recovery through chemo. And
Indeed.
This goes out to our fathers as well, tuning in on Heaven's Radio. Here's a love song between a boy and a ghost.
All right.
It's called Rolling River.
I return to the place by the old rolling river in the shade there made by the old willow tree. And I saw you again in reflections on the water by the sunlight and in my memory. We were oh so happy there together before heaven sure beckoned thee. Now the tears on my face flood the old rolling river all alone by the weeping willow tree. As in days long ago, where you lead me I follow, I spend them listening for whispering in the wind that keeps calling me back to the old rolling river by the willow to be with my old friend. We were oh so happy there together before heaven sure beckoned thee. Now the my face. Flood the old rolling river, all alone by the weeping willow tree.
Return to the place by the old rolling river, and you're there, so near yet so far away. Then I reach for your hand and I wake up back in heaven, where I know for you there I must wait. We were all so happy there together, before heaven sure beckoned thee. Now the tears on my face flood the old rolling river, all alone by the weeping willow tree. All alone by the weeping willow tree.
Charmaine Slavin there, Charlie Beck. Squirrel Butter is the name of that band. Before I even go another inch here, I have to thank Reeb Willms here for the best rhubarb pie I've had in a long time. You are really a master of the rhubarb pie. It was not oversweetened, and the crust was perfect. You use shortening and butter in the crust.
That's right.
Right, and
Don't give away all our secrets, though.
did you what?
Don't give away all the secrets.
No, that's in any recipe book. No, the secret is in patience and care and the right kind of rhubarb, and it came from a ditch in your backyard, right?
Yep.
Wild, weedy rhubarb, the
Yes.
best. All right. Well, you got a future ahead of you if the music doesn't work out, you know. Rhubarb pie. You've got a secret. You've got a secret. What you going to do here, Caleb? Caleb Klauder Country Band and Reeb Willms.
We've also got an original song, like Charlie and Charmaine, and also like their song. It's a love song that I wrote called "The Last Time I Saw You." I wrote this for two people in love, or any two groups of people in love. So this goes out to my family. 2, 3. The last time I saw you, you were wearing red, and red's the brightest color that I know. Your image stands inside my mind, and never will it fade. My love for you to everyone will show. And if heartaches come around, we will fight them. And if sorrows bring us down, we'll rise again. Don't ever let them put trouble between us, and let our love and love for life forever reign.
No matter if you're near or far, you're always on my mind. I hear your voice in every song I sing. And as I wear this dress of red, remembering you, my dear, I wonder if you'll wear my wedding ring. And if heartaches come around, we will fight them. And if sorrows bring us down, we'll rise again.
Oh, don't trouble between us. Let our love and love for life forever reign. Oh, let our love and love for life forever reign.
Caleb Klauder, Reeb Willms there, and the country band came up to join us from Portland, Oregon. Well, it's been a quiet week in Lake Wobegon, Minnesota, my hometown. Out on the edge of the prairie. It's been hot there this last week. Got up to 93 on Wednesday, and that took the starch out of Norwegian bachelor farmers in particular. They were sitting there on the bench under the awning in front of Ralph's Pretty Good Grocery. They don't have hot weather clothing, Norwegian bachelor farmers. They sit there in their denim coveralls and their jean jackets and their work boots under their straw hats. They have never been seen in public in shorts ever, bachelor farmers. That would be underwear, so you wouldn't go out like that. They sit there under the awning and they drink hot coffee to cool off. This is their own unique theory. They have their own ideas, Norwegian bachelor farmers, and there's a lot of certitude going on there, so you don't want to ever argue with them because they have a lot to say on these subjects. Cholesterol is a myth, absolutely. There is no such thing as global warming. It was invented by somebody, they don't know who. The government is illegal. Smoking is good for your respiration, and hot coffee will cool you off. They believe all of these things, and we don't even talk to them about that. We just leave them be. If they perish, call 911, but otherwise just let them stay where they are. It's a hard time of year for my people because we're not comfortable with the idea of vacations. We're not comfortable with the idea of indolence and abandoning what you're needed for here. You are needed for something, and to just walk away and leave the world get along without you is painful. We like to be busy. We like to be occupied. And that's why people have summer cabins, is to make it look like vacation, but give yourself a lot of work to do. That's the genius of the summer cabin. Otherwise, you're laying yourself open to a vacation. A vacation is dreamed up by a woman who's looking at brochures of beautiful people who are having obviously a lovely time in scenic places, and she says, well, how about this? How about this? And you, who were brought up to be accommodating, goodness knows, you say, well, whatever you would like. I'll be fine with anything, really. It makes no difference to me. I can be happy either way. That's what you were brought up to say. But to your parents. And now here you are, a grown person. So, she takes you at your word that you can be happy either way, and she signs you up for this wilderness resort, which is like a prisoner of war camp. It's out there in the forest, and there are clouds of mosquitoes, and they are impervious. Did I say impervious? Yes, I meant impervious to any sort of bug spray whatsoever. Bug repellent does not repel. It only irritates them, and they just keep on coming in greater and greater numbers, and the beds are punishing, and you eat this horrible POW food there, and you are taken for forced marches by some smart botanist who asks you questions that enable you to demonstrate your ignorance in front of your own children. And you sit around a campfire and you sing, "This land is my land, our land, your land," whatever, and smoke is drifting into your eyes, and you sit there in sheer misery, and your wife is unhappy and your children are unhappy, and it occurs to you not just once or twice, but every day, the idea of abandoning your family, leaving them out there in the wilderness, and all of that because you didn't own a summer house, you see. A summer house which gives you an excuse to stay home and to work. There's no end of work with a summer house. It is always falling apart if you buy one in poor enough condition. The Inkvists, David and Judy Inkvist, the former pastor and his wife, were up at their summer house in Lake Wobegon. Two people who we thought were separated, but here they were, and they were having a wonderful time out there, and we could hear music playing out there, the Rolling Stones, Brown Sugar, and they seemed to be dancing in their front yard, and they were drinking and having a wonderful time, and then they came to the Moonlight Bay Supper Club, and they were laughing and laughing and laughing, these two people who never did that when they lived in Lake Wobegon, and they were the Lutheran pastor and his wife out in public and eating steak dinners at the Moonlight Bay Supper Club and laughing and touching each other on the arm and touching each other on the knee. And, "Oh, I can't believe you would say that," she said. And who? He said, "Who? What? What?" It was so remarkable to see this. Marlene, the old church secretary, finally got up the gumption to walk up to them and say, "Weren't you two separated?" And they said, "Yes, we've been divorced for 3 years, but we're good friends." Well, doesn't that shed light that we would rather not see? Do we even want to think about this? No. Not in Lake Wobegon, we don't. There they were. They've been divorced 3 years, and they were having a whale of a good time. What does this say? What does this say about the rest of us? They walked out of the Moonlight Bay Supper Club, and they were walking very close together in a way that gave you the idea that there was something going on, and they were going back to their summer cabin, and they were going to sleep together. Can you do that after you've been divorced? What does Luther say about that? Is there some guidance in Scripture on this? We weren't sure. Judy Inkvist came to the bridal shower at Arlene Bunson's house. She gave it for her nephew, Aaron, who's getting married to a girl from Seattle, Sally J, S.J., and she was there, Seattle girl, there at Arlene's house, and the mother of the groom could not give the shower because she has a phobia of being in a crowded room, so she hasn't gone to church for now 2 years, and she couldn't even come to the bridal shower. But Sally Joe was there, and about 30 women there in Arlene Bunson's living room. It was a classic shower, and they played all those stupid games that nobody would ever play otherwise, and there were a lot of gifts. Sally Joe was interesting. She wore this kind of yellowish sundress, and she was kind of a slight young woman with blonde hair, and she wore perfectly round black glasses, and she was very, very nice. She walked in, and they could not help but notice the tattoo on her left ankle, which was a string bean, and then a vine going up her leg all the way up to and past the hem of her dress. It went up. How far did it go, we wondered. What was the meaning of this? Did this have to do with Jack and the Beanstalk, or what was the story here? We were very nice to her. They were very nice to her. "So, I hear you are studying architecture." She said, "Yes, I'm studying architecture," but she's not interested in big buildings. She's interested in making very small buildings, sustainable living and energy efficiency. She talked about that for a while. People wanting less and less in a house. She's building houses that are portable, and you tow them behind your car. They said, like trailers? No, she said, even smaller than that. These are 10 by 10 8 by 10 little rooms, and you hitch them to your car, and you can go live with anybody, and that's all you need. That's the trend of things nowadays, is less and less. People don't have landlines anymore. They have cell phones, and they don't need all of the things that people used to need. No, that's what we're going to do. After we get married, we're going to live in one of those. We've promised each other, my love and I, that we will never have more personal possessions than you can put into a large suitcase. That's all we will ever have. They looked around at the pile of gifts, the mountain of gifts. As she opened them, there were 2 quilts, there were bath towels galore, there were 3 sets of mixing bowls, there was a mixer as well, there were 2 pairs of candlesticks, there were plates and all of these things, a whole pile of it there in front of her. She didn't seem to make any sort of a connection. We had heard that they're going to be married in Seattle, and they're going to be married outdoors. We heard that Sally was going to invite all of her former boyfriends, and that there were a great many of them, and that she was going to sing a song that she has written herself entitled "When My Body Is Next to Your Body." So we were interested in hearing more about that, and especially about the boyfriends. We asked about the wedding. She said, well, it's going to be outdoors, and we'll just say our own vows, and we'll get somebody to sign the certificate. My friends will be there to play music, and it'll all be potluck, and it'll be just, it'll be very Seattle. We said, well, how about your parents? Will they? Well, I think we'll be there. My mother and her husband will be there. My father and his girlfriend, I'm not sure. They're out on a sailboat somewhere off the coast of British Columbia. We can't seem to reach them, but I hope that they can come. And then she looked at her watch and she said, "Oh my gosh, I've got to go. I've got a plane. I've got to catch a plane and go back home. Thank you all so much." And she was out the door, leaving all of these gifts behind, this whole mountain of quilts and mixing bowls and TV trays and a set of knives. Left it all behind. Very nice young woman. Just, we weren't sure what to make of all of this. So people sat around and talked about everything but what they were thinking, which we are good at in Lake Wobegon. And one by one, people got up to leave, and they reached for the gift they had given her, and Arlene said, go ahead, just take it. You'll find another use for it. And so everybody took what they had brought and left. And when everybody had left, there was a dish towel left with a walleye, a picture of a walleye, an enormous fish leaping up out of a lake with a fierce look in his wall eyes and just leaping up into the air. She could not remember anybody who had given this gift. It was just there. This walleye on a dish towel. It was ugly and yet fascinating in a way. It was something that nobody would want in their home, but they used to. And Arlene remembered a time when she was 8 years old, and she had been sent up to Grand Rapids to visit her Aunt Anne. And she was sent out to play the way children used to be before the world became dangerous. And she went down to a park, and she had heard of the giant walleye, Willie the walleye. Wally the walleye, I'm sorry, Wally the walleye. Willie is in Grand Rapids, and Grand Forks, I'm sorry. This is Grand Rapids. I'm confused because the sun is shining on me, and I'm old. Have pity. And Wally the walleye, it was an enormous walleye. It was 25 feet tall, and you could look into its wide open mouth and this dark hole down there. and you could toss a coin in and make a wish. And the little girl, Arlene, looked at it, and then a voice said, "What do you want?" She said, "I want to make a wish." "Yeah, well, what's your wish?" It was a woman's voice. It wasn't a man's voice. Arlene said, "I thought you were a man." The fish said, "What's the difference? What's the difference? What's your wish? What do you want?" Arlene said, "I want to be happy." Fish said, "Tell you what you ought to wish for. You ought to wish to lose a little weight. Your little fatty cakes there." Happiness, doesn't exist. Doesn't exist. What else you want? "Well, I want true love." Doesn't exist either. What else? "Why are you up here and not in the lake?" "Why am I up here?" "I'm up here because I didn't want somebody to catch me." You ever have a hook, a sharp hook in your lip? It's no fun, believe me, kid. "Yeah." "Well, do you like it up here?" "No, I don't like it up here. I'm a fish out of water. That's what I am. But you know, what choice do I have? What choice do I have?" The child said, "What kind of wish can I get for a quarter?" And she tossed a quarter in, and she could feel it bouncing around, hear it bouncing around in there. And the fish said, "Tell you what you can have for a quarter. Wherever you go, kid, wherever you go, whatever you get, it could have been worse. Okay? That's as good as I can offer you." And so she's remembered that all these years. And when you're extremely lucky, if you should be extremely lucky, and you should be rich, and you should be good looking, and you should live in Seattle, if you're extremely lucky and people tell you how lucky you are, you just look at them and you say, it could be worse. And it can be. That's the news from Lake Wobegon, where all the women are strong, all the men are good looking, and all the children are above average. Rich Dworsky wrote that beautiful tune called The Glass is Half Full. So glad to have these fiddlers come with us here today, and Emma, Martha, and EJ, and Martha Levinson, and Emma Anderson, and Vicky Watt-Warshaw, and EJ Landsman. Playing Swedish music, Skolkis is the name of the group. Skol is school, and Skolkis means skipping school. And so you do that. On the 20th, that's going to be your big Midsummer Day celebration, talking to you at home. They're going to be busy. They're going to be playing up in Astoria for that, and build a big bonfire, and people will be leaping and dancing around, and they'll be dancing to this dance among all of the others, a little polska. To look out for Midsommarstag. All right. We have to come in here with a word from the Ketchup Advisory Board, of course.
These are the good years for me and Barb. The kids are away. They're at a wilderness school in Utah, where you learn self-reliance by subsisting on a diet of dandelions and rodents. And with the kids gone, Barb and I are starting to enjoy the English language again.
Oh, right. I mean, with teenagers around, you start picking up their language, and you go around saying, what's up, and OMG, and awesome, and totally.
Yes, and the word not, as in, you are so cool, not.
Yes. You're talking monosyllables like, hey, what, huh, ew. But now with the kids away, our vocabulary has burgeoned, it's proliferated, snowballed.
It's an unmitigated pleasure.
Uh-oh, no more remonstrations and rejoinders to remind our progeny of basic hygiene issues.
Instead, we engage each other in reciprocal enlightenment.
Yes.
Rejecting the metaphysics of motherhood and the positivism of paternity.
Right.
And the dogma of dog ownership.
Yes.
And accepting the ambiguity of the ambulatory and the skepticism of ketchup.
Oh, yes, ketchup. The unconditional condiment with the natural mellowing agents.
These are the good times. The loons are on the lakes. A mist on the water as the morning breaks. Life is flowing like ketchup on cornflakes.
Ketchup for the good times.
Ketchup, ketchup.
That's our show from Chateau Ste here just outside Seattle, Washington. Thanks to all the folks who listen to us here on KUOW in Seattle. Mr. Rich Dworsky here at the piano with the Barolo Boys band here. Richard Kriehn there on the mandolin and the fiddle. Chris Siebold on guitar. Larry Steen back there on the bass. And Mr. Bernie Dresel on the drums. Our radio acting company with us, Sue Scott, Tim Russell, and Mr. Dan Rolls. Our sound effects man, Mr. Fred Newman. Thanks so much to Skolkis for being here. Emma Anderson and E.J. Landsman, Martha Levinson, Vicki Watt-Warshaw, and have a happy, happy midsummer day up in Astoria. Caleb Klauder Country Band with Reeb Willms, Russ Blake there on the pedal steel, and Jesse Emerson, Ned Folkerth, and Mr. Sam Weiss. Thanks to Squirrel Butter and Charmaine Slavin, our dancer, our radio dancer of choice, and Charlie Beck playing the banjo. So good to be here with you, as always, here in Seattle. May there be many, many more. Oh, all the money e'er I had, I spent it in good company, and all the harm that e'er I caused, alas, it fell on none but me. And all I did for lack of wit, to memory I can't recall. So bring to me my dancing shoes. Good night and joy be with you. All I'm singing songs so very slow that Charmaine cannot possibly dance to them. Oh, I am singing in my natural dirge that I learned in the sanctified brethren. Oh, but soon I'll come to something with some tempo, and then Charmaine will be able to dance. And meanwhile I will just stand here and enjoy the confusion on her face. Good night, ladies. Good night, ladies. Good night, ladies. We're going to leave you now. Merrily we'll roll along, roll along, roll along. Merrily we'll roll along over the deep blue sea. Good night, Charmaine. Good night, Charlie. Good night, Caleb and Reeb, and good night, Skolkis, too. Tonight from Seattle, under a blue sky with a great crowd from the Chateau Ste Winery. Thanks for all these fine musicians. Good night, everybody. Good night, sweetheart, well, it's time to go. Good night, sweetheart, well, it's time to go. I hate to leave you, but I really must say, good night, sweetheart, good night, one more time. Good night, sweetheart, well, it's time to go. Good night, sweetheart, it's time to go. I hate to leave you, but I really must say, good night, sweetheart, good night. There goes my baby with someone new. She sure looks happy, I sure am blue. She was my baby, well, he stepped in. Goodbye to romance that might have been. Bye-bye, love. Bye-bye, happiness. Hello, loneliness. I think I'm gonna cry. Bye-bye, love. Bye-bye, sweet caress. Hello, emptiness. I feel like I could die. Bye-bye, my love, goodbye. I'm through with romance. I'm through with love. I'm through with counting the stars above, and here's the reason that I'm so free. My loving baby is through with me. Bye-bye, love. Bye-bye, happiness. Hello, emptiness. I think I'm gonna cry. Bye-bye, love. Bye-bye, sweet caress. I feel like I could die. Bye-bye, my love, goodbye. Good night, everybody. Thank you. Bye-bye, love. Bye-bye, happiness. I think I'm gonna ride. Bye-bye, love. Bye-bye, sweet caress. Hello, emptiness. I feel like I could die. Bye-bye, my love, goodbye. Bye, my love, goodbye. Bye-bye, love. Bye-bye, happiness. Hello, loneliness. I feel like I could die. Bye-bye, love. Bye-bye, sweet caress. Hello, emptiness. I feel like I could die. Don't.